To start our discussion off today about education laws and policies, I'll be starting close to home at the American International School based in Chennai, India. Because we are an international school, we are neither affected by American nor Indian education laws and policies. However, as a business within India, we are affected by labor laws. Labor laws in India are enacted on a state level, which for Chennai is the state of Tamil Nadu. Each state provides paid holidays for at least 7 holidays, including national holidays such as Independence Day, Republic Day, and Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, as well as many other Hindu festivals that occur throughout the year. Any person working on these days is entitled to 2.5 days' pay. The issue this law creates for the American International School is the struggle to accommodate the various cultures and religions represented at our school. Our school aims to represent the local staff in their holidays. Meanwhile, many of our teachers are from overseas and expect American holidays off as well. It is difficult to find the right balance while still being mindful of continuity of instruction and not disrupting the learning. Here you'll see our academic calendar for this year. The American International School has tried to space out our breaks as evenly as possible, the first occurring in October for 1 week, the second in December and January for our 3-week winter break, and finally 2 weeks in March and April. The most recent disruption we encountered was upon returning from our winter break. Teachers were eager to begin the new semester, yet our classes were disrupted by a mid-week Pongal festival, followed by Republic Day just 2 weeks later. For teachers and students alike, it was difficult to settle back into our routine with so many disruptions.
So one of the aspects that's really different about working in an international school is that you have to value the festivals and holidays that are in the local culture, as well as the holidays and festivals from America. And because there seem to be so many festivals in India, there are constant interruptions in the work weeks. And I think it makes it really difficult for students to feel kind of the flow of learning and have the continuity that's really needed when we consistently have shortened weeks.
Similar to the issue our school faces here in Chennai, many local Indian schools are struggling to find the time to accommodate for the many festivals and holidays. Recently, the Department of Education extended Diwali and festival breaks. To make up for these lost days, Indian schools are compensating by requiring students and teachers to attend 6 days per week. The irony in this policy is that it contradicts the Right to Education Act, requiring attendance 45 hours per week. This puts schools in a difficult position where students and teachers are feeling overworked and therefore unable to perform at their best. In fact, recent studies from the University of Maine indicate that 4-day school week models benefit in student achievement, school financial savings, and other stakeholder satisfaction. Before living in India, I worked in Tanzania, where I encountered frustrating education laws and policies. To give a brief history of the Tanzanian education system, in 1961, Tanzania gained independence from Britain and therefore inherited the existing English and Swahili curriculum. However, by 1967, the country adopted socialism and therefore required the language of instruction to be strictly in Swahili. By the 90s, English medium schools were legalized, however only available to those who could afford the high tuition fees. This has created a huge divide in the education system for those who have the money to learn English and those who do not. Also in Tanzanian government schools, the language of instruction in primary school is in Swahili. Yet in secondary school and college, students are expected to have miraculously learned English. Teachers are also not trained properly in the English language for teaching in secondary school. Any efforts being made to resolve this issue is by not-for-profit organizations and foreign volunteers. However, reform must occur from within the government if they expect their children to exceed using either Swahili or English language. Lastly, I wanted to touch on the education laws and policies from back home in the States, which for me is New England. Following the No Child Left Behind initiative, President Obama began his own education reform called the Race to the Top grant. Since its release, 40 states have applied for a piece of the pie, some even multiple times. But only 12 states have received grants so far, Massachusetts being one of them. The grant money also comes at a hefty price, enforcing standardized tests and evaluations. Teachers, administration, students, and parents are all feeling the heat as the expectations of testing performance increases. This aligns with recent research indicating the negative effect of standardized testing on student learning. Some parents voiced their concerns at a Natick school's PTA meeting. Overall, I noticed the theme of issues needing to be addressed. Primarily is the idea that education is not a competition, and teachers, parents, and students have every right to request to slow down. Among the developing countries, there appear to be many conflicting policies that could be easily addressed within their governments. Globally, there is a need for education reform emphasizing student-centered pedagogy.